Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on iHeartRadio Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. And of course, you good old boys up in Canada, you know we love you up in Canada. But Big C, there's no one I love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for all the good old boys down south? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, sounds like it's steamy right now. Are you broadcasting from your steaming house, Big C? It sounds like you got some steamed pig and some moonshine on the grill, Big C. That make any sense? Yeah. I understand, Big C. Well, today is a beautiful day. It's all good on August the 9th, 2017 in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Have a good show coming up tonight. Want to run back with some history of the Big C. Obviously, we have Carolina and Houston there playing tonight. Your thoughts on any of the players, Deshaun Watson being played, or Cam Newton, are they going to see any time other than just a lot of talk on the sidelines? Big C, your thoughts?
I don't think that Cam will see any time tonight, Charles, and I think the big talk is about Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
People want to see what this young man out of Stanford can do, the number 8 overall pick in the draft, and if he had been playing on the East Coast in college, Charles,
yeah,
he most likely would have been a Heisman Trophy winner. But, playing on the left coast out there, most of the voters were asleep by the time he played.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't get a lot of press time, Charles, but, you think about it, he set an NCAA single-season record for all-purpose yards out there at University of Stanford, broke the Reggie Bush record.
Yeah.
And he had set, Charles, and a lot of people expected him to be a much better pro than what Reggie Bush was. Deshaun Watson on the other side, Charles, everybody's waiting on the rookie out of Clemson. Houston traded up 12 picks to draft this kid.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of high expectations. Tom Savage will start, but don't expect too little from Deshaun Watson. Once he gets on the field, he's going to be electrifying.
Well, that's a very good point, Big C. Today's segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. Big C, I just want to finish off a little bit today's show I want to start off today's show where we ended yesterday. And just for closing, okay, because obviously it'll go on for a long time when you talk about Kaepernick in the NFL and Spike Lee, one of the greatest producers, and I think in American history, and calling for just a march, I guess, at the NFL headquarters, not like what Farrakhan did with the Million Man March. And no matter what anybody thinks about what may or may not happen, whether Kaepernick is there or not, you would have to be under a rock to not know what's going on with social injustice in the United States. And I think it's uncomfortable, and that's a good thing. It's always good when you're uncomfortable because that's when you grow. And I hope that if anything, that the sport that is $1 billion sport because of African American males can at least take some time to acknowledge Black Lives Matter the same way they take time to acknowledge Viagra and Cialis and all the other things that people don't need to know about, but they talk about that in the eyes of kids. Well, I think Black Lives Matter is more important than that. And I think of all men, the African-American men who are not the sycophants, the dumb downtrodden, who just want to play sports, they can at least have some negotiations to help the NFL at least emulate what Colin Kaepernick did by putting money into causes that will help people who are trying to go to college and trying to do something better with their lives. Big C, your thoughts? If that makes any sense, Big C. I think
first and foremost, Charlton, I think this is a black guy on the commissioner.
Yeah.
More than anything else, this is a revelation against him. That, he's being called to the plate more so than the owners are, Charlton. Because you got to understand that the commissioner is the facilitator of all of what's been going on with Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
He is the judge and the jury that has allowed this to occur. He knows what blackballing, ostracizing, and even suspension goes on in the NFL because he's the ringleader.
Yeah.
And to get this, witch hunt that has gone on to keep Colin Kaepernick out of a training camp thus far, here early in the preseason, Charlton, is led by the commissioner.
Yeah.
And he can, at any point, Charlton, could put out a mandate. When he can say you got to draft a certain player, and that has been done in the draft because he wanted the
Yeah.
To sit here and watch a young man who's done nothing unjust, when he has allowed multiple players, Charlton, with criminal activity
Yeah.
to be a part of the NFL. You know, he sit there and let the Cowboys cut a kid who was falsely accused
Yeah.
of a misdemeanor incident because he hasn't done anything to Ezekiel Elliott, who has committed multiple felonies, saying that, you know, they want to make sure they get the investigation right.
Yeah.
All you got to do is look at the tape.
Yep.
You know, it's simple.
Just look at the tape. Yep.
This is a Rodney King scenario all over again.
Well,
But, you know, what has been done, and we talked about it, Charlton, is that what the owners have done to the rest of the black NFL is they say, hey, if you get out of line and you don't do what we say, we will end your career.
yeah.
Not because you're a bad player or a bad person, but what you're doing is shining a light on our inequities as far as being, you know, prevalent to other people's
Yeah.
feelings and thoughts.
Yeah.
If they're not a billionaire.
Well, Big C, I think that makes a good point. And also, what I love about the NFL is that it has opened its doors to diversity from all over the world. We call it the National Football League, but you could call it the Football League of the Universe because it's the strongest one out there. There's been some that have come and gone, and it really is a galvanizing sport, and I hope we take the time to have the number one sport in the United States of America be about more than just knocking people upside the head and dealing with the CTE issues. I just want to end with this point. It was the NAACP was started in 1909 by Jewish Americans and other people of color because they wanted to end racial injustice in the United States in the labor market, in housing, and employment, and everything else. Well, the NFL has a better position than that. And Joel Spangard was the first president of the NAACP in 1909, even though it's known as a black organization. It was started by Jewish Americans who simply wanted to do right. So hopefully, I think society and sports leagues can take the lead from that, Big C. And if we have that, I think it's going to be better for all of our society going forward. What I want to just touch on right now, your thoughts, we talk about some of the great players in football. In the NFL, we talk about offensive players. I just want to get your thoughts on some of the best current day offensive players, whether it's quarterback, running back, receiver, offensive line, tight end, and how they stack up against the best guys in the old school back in the day. Big C, your thought.
Well, Charlton, it's hard to draw a parallel with the modern day player because we don't have every down players. We have a lot of situational players in the game.
Yeah.
You know, when it used to be when a running back started the game, Charlton,
Yeah.
he ended the game. You know, he could be counted on for 30 carries. If you get a running back with 22 carries now, that's a serious workload.
Yeah.
You know, they normally have a third down specialist that comes into the game. We think about the tight end of today's era. There has been some marvelous tight ends
Yeah.
over the history of the NFL
Yeah.
that have been leaders in reception and taking the forefront. But, you know, when I look at a running back, I'm not going to see a Barry Sanders. I'm not going to see a Jim Brown,
Yeah.
or O.J. Simpson. I'm not going to see an Earl Campbell anymore, Charlton.
Yeah.
I mean, Adrian Peterson probably is the last 2,000-yard back we'll ever see in the NFL.
Yeah.
Just the way the game is played now, Charlton.
Yeah.
You know, I look at the Atlanta Falcons today. They locked up Antonio Freeman.
Yeah.
Who should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They gave him $22 million guaranteed.
That's
about that.
That's not bad. You said guaranteed, Big C?
Yeah, it was $46 million contract, though, Charlton.
Okay.
You know, $22 million guaranteed. Matt Ryan, Charlton, is going to make $25 million this year, okay?
Wow.
That's guaranteed. All right, so here's a guy who's the workhorse of the Atlanta backfield.
Yeah.
And his quarterback will make more this year than what his contract is guaranteed to make.
Yeah.
So Antonio Freeman won't see the full length of his contract, but Matt Ryan will see the $25 million this year, Charlton.
Yeah.
We look at quarterbacks. There is not a stable quarterback other than Tom Brady until he can transcend being around 17 years in the league.
Yeah.
You know, Drew Brees' legs, you know, has propelled him to greatness in the NFL.
Yeah.
But when we're looking at quarterbacks who are just staples out there, Charlton, the consistency just hasn't been there. You know, it's been hot and cold. Aaron Rodgers has only won the Super Bowl, but he's still considered one of the top two quarterbacks.
One of the top. Yeah.
in
One of the
the
top.
NFL.
Yeah.
So, you know, as we go across the league, Russell Wilson doesn't get those accolades, Charlton. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers has been to 1.
Yeah.
And Drew Brees has been to 1. But he doesn't get the accolades of these other quarterbacks. Phillip Rivers has never been to a Super Bowl, even though he was around as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger could have played in any era, Charlton, when you think about Big Ben as a dominant quarterback quarterback. He matches up well against quarterbacks of the past and the present because of his physical stature.
Yeah.
But, we look at the receiving corps around the NFL, Charles. We got a lot of hot dogs out there. I mean, great receivers, great acrobats, very talented. But I haven't seen a guy who just goes out and dominates a game, other than Julio Jones.
Yeah.
Julio is unstoppable. He's one of those guys, but he has a set of triplets. He has Gabriel and Sanu
Yeah.
on that team that makes his life a little easier. And so that has helped him. Antonio Brown reminds me a lot of a receiver, Charlton, and no one gives a lot of credit to it. He played out there in your neighborhood, Cliff Branch.
Oh, yeah.
Colorado.
Yep.
With
the Raiders, yeah.
Two-time Super Bowl winner, Charlton. Ran a 4.2, 4.3, 40.
Yeah.
And still today, Charlton, has the best yard per reception of any receiver in the NFL history, with, the amount of games that he would have played 100 games.
Yeah.
So you think about that with Cliff Branch and players like that who didn't get the recognition. John Stallworth never got the recognition of a Lynn Swann
Yep.
in Pittsburgh, but yet he was the staple of that receiving corps.
Yeah.
Bob Hayes would never get the recognition. And speaking of Bob Hayes, Charlton, I want to go just a little bit off the football track today.
Yeah.
Jesse Owens. Today is the 81st anniversary of Jesse Owens winning 4 gold medals in the Olympics in front of Adolf Hitler.
That's amazing.
One of the greatest African-American athletes of all time, Charlton. Won't get the recognition because he didn't run during the ESPN generation. But
Yeah.
he was the Usain Bolt of his era, the Carl Lewis of his era, Charlton.
Yeah.
He had no parallel in what he did athletically. But Jesse Owens also showed the racism and the embarrassment of the U.S. Adolf Hitler turned his back on Jesse Owens at the Olympics.
Yep.
America turned its back on Jesse Owens when he came back to America.
Isn't that something?
Jesse Owens did not even get invited to the White House with the white athletes, Charlton, even though he was the most decorated athlete in the 36 Berlin Olympics.
Yeah.
Jesse Owens could not even get a job in America after being the most decorated athlete in the 1936 Olympics. So when America wants to say, well, how far have we come? All you have to do is look at what was done to Jesse Owens.
That's powerful.
He had to run against horses
Yeah.
to earn a living, to support his family. This is what he had to do to support his family. He had to go out and run against livestock because America would not afford him a job being the greatest athlete in America, Charles.
When you bring that up, Big C, the painful element is still there in our society, and I always want to defend. It's a sad dog that won't defend itself in a fight. And as a person of color, growing up in the United States, the land of the free, the home of the brave, I believe I can do anything as long as I'm given an equal playing field. And sometimes, even if the deck stacked against us, a lot of African Americans have succeeded. When you talk about Jesse Owens, can you imagine how he was ostracized in America? And people hate Hitler for what he did with Nazi Germany, of course. But here's the same society that hated a man who was running for his own country, the United States of America. And when I juxtapose that to today's, the Kerner Commission back in the half century ago, with Lyndon Baines Johnson and all the things going on now, it's always taken pain to make change. So for people who say, well, we don't want people to be uncomfortable, we don't want people to not come to a game, well, they went to the Berlin Olympics. They also went to see Ali fight. They went to see fights all the time. So when society says we don't want to be uncomfortable, Big C, nothing in history has ever changed without some people being uncomfortable, Big C. Your thoughts?
I look at these owners who say that they're polling the fans and getting letters from fans. What they have said that there's no African-American fans.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't
This is what all the white owners have said. Well, I've listened to my white fans.
They haven't asked me anything.
I haven't heard anything, and I've been around to many cities since this has occurred, Charlton.
Yeah.
But they've only listened to the ear of the white fans. You gonna tell me that black fans get into the game for free, or are they buying tickets?
I think they're buying tickets. Yep.
That's the thing that I don't understand and don't appreciate coming from the mouths of these owners.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull the guys that live in my neighborhood. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how many houses in this neighborhood? 50?
Yeah.
That's about it,
That's
50 other millionaires live in his neighborhood. So
Yeah.
He's going to say those are the people that he's pulling. So when I listen to these owners, Charlton, these suggestions that they're making
Yeah.
are labeled for racism.
Yeah.
They're saying that they're going to pull the white fans and see what they say.
Yeah.
They might as well say that because they're not out there pulling the black community.
Nope.
Saying, okay, is that injustice? Do we feel that the judicial system is unfair? Charlton, the owners blatantly say that they believe in racism when they say this.
Yeah.
Because what else could there be?
Well, I think you pointed out earlier there's a history of being ignorant, and there's a history of pretending you're naive, and that's part of life, but I still think sports will bring our society together more than any other. And Big C, talking about back a little bit with some of the top offensive players in the history of the NFL, back in the old school, and I know this may not make sense to a lot of people, but I do believe that one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL was Randall Cunningham. And I say that because of his talent and the teams that he played on. Morton Anderson missed a kick that would have sent them on to the Super Bowl when he played for Dennis Green and the Vikings. I'm sorry, Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson, thank you for that. I think he would have led that team, the Vikings, which is one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL, to the Super Bowl. And he did it on a different team. He was great with Philadelphia. He was great with Minnesota. But just because he didn't get to a Super Bowl like several other good quarterbacks in the league, he may not go down as one of the best. But I sure would like to ask you, have you ever seen anyone more talented than Randall Cunningham out of UNLV, Big C? Your thoughts?
You know, Randall Cunningham, Charlton, is a prototype of a lot of quarterbacks that we see in the NFL today with the mobility that they possess. But he was just a tremendous asset. You got to realize he was one of the top punters in the NCAA, Charlton, when he came out of UNLV.
Yeah.
Drafted, he's the first quarterback drafted when he was drafted by the Eagles that year in the second round. He's the first quarterback taken by the NFL.
Yeah.
And he was brought in to replace Ron Jaworski, Charlton. He was an amoeba when you think about his talent.
Yeah.
Something that was way ahead of his time. And NFL offenses or defenses were not ready for it. Big Ramil took the chance with him.
Yep.
And he got to a particular level. But Randall Cunningham, when he was with the Vikings and he had Randy Moss, Chris Carter, and Robert Smith,
Yeah.
they were the greatest offense in the NFL history. When people talk about the Rams, the greatest show on turf,
Yeah.
the Vikings had already done that, Charlton,
Yeah.
with Randall Cunningham.
I think you're right.
As you said, the unfortunate missed kick
Yeah.
against the Falcons in the NFC Championship game that would have propelled them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But they set an NFL scoring record. You had two of the top receivers in the game. You had a 1,500-yard running back.
Yep.
You had a quarterback who threw for just under 5,000 yards. So they had it all offensively. They were 15-1 in the regular season. A tremendous team that will never get any accolade for what they did not achieve.
Yeah.
And yet quarterbacks have achieved a lot less and get greater accolades than what Randall Cunningham
Trent Dilfer, and they played in the same conference in the college, I believe. At that time, it was the PCAA or it was on the West Coast Conference. I remember that back in the day. UNLV and Fresno State were in the same conference. Also, I want to jump down to another position, Big C. You think of tight ends right now, everyone thinks Gronkowski. Obviously, he's great. But I still think one of the best tight ends in the history of the NFL back in the old schools was Kellen Winslow out of San Diego. And I really even like, Gonzalez, who played for the Kansas City Chiefs. But Winslow, to me, was a more all-around player. I want to get your thoughts on him and how he stacks up as one of the best of all time. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you think about the tight ends that were playing at the time Kellen Winslow was playing.
Yeah.
You had Ozzie Newsome. You had Dave Casper. But Kellen Winslow set the table as far as tight ends go. Any tight end that comes along and sets records, whether it's Sharp, Gonzalez, any of these guys, Charlton, owe it all to Kellen Winslow. He was the original nightmare
Yeah.
of the matchup. Air Coryell offense became Air Coryell when they drafted
Yeah.
Kellen Winslow back in 1979, Charlton,
Yeah.
out of the University of Missouri.
Yeah.
He was just the elite. He had speed, he had size, he had charisma. And he understood the passing game. You had the great Dan Fouts,
Yeah.
who was one of the greatest pure passers in NFL history, who was in the Hall of Fame.
No Super Bowl.
Not thought of because he never made a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But Kellen Winslow, you could split him out wide, you could keep him in tight. He was 6'5", 265 pounds.
Yeah.
He could block, he could run. Charlton, he was fearless. He had one of the greatest games in NFL history against the Miami Dolphins in an overtime playoff game down at the Orange Bowl, the original Orange Bowl.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
This is a tremendous game. Don Strock and Tony Mason and Nat Moore for the Dolphins, versus, Winslow and Joyner and, Chandler
Yeah.
down there for the Chargers. Chuck Muncie in the backfield. Just a super game, but, it was a joy to watch Kellen Winslow and play against Kellen Winslow. When people saw him, you knew you were going to have a nightmare in the secondary, Charles.
Big C, as a defensive lineman, understanding how it is to play with the offensive lineman. I think one of the best in history would have to go down as Larry Allen, just my pick. There's another good one that's a current great player. I think it's going to be great. Tyrone Smith out of the Dallas Cowboys. So Dallas has a history of getting big players that are really dominant players on the O-line. Your thoughts on Larry Allen, Big C?
Larry Allen was just stupid, crazy good, Charlton, period. That's the only way you describe it. You knew that you were going to have a tough day if you had to play against Larry Allen.
Yeah.
Larry Allen was the beast of beasts, Charlton. He was beyond strong. He was fast. He was physical. He was cynical. More than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
That was the thing about when you face Larry Allen is that he didn't care.
Yeah.
All he cared about is that he was going to whoop your butt.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it, up and down the line.
Yeah.
You knew you would have a bad day playing against Larry. And I'll tell you another offensive lineman that didn't get a lot of recognition.
Yeah.
That was better than a lot of people gave him credit for, Charlton. That was Bruce Armstrong. He used to play with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Back when Bill Parcells had taken him to the Super Bowl, he's been a perennial All-Pro that offensive tackle out of Louisville. Just a tremendous player, Charlton. Just didn't get the recognition. Another would have been Chris Hitton. Chris Hitton is more noted for the trade for John Elway in the NFL than anything else. A tremendous offensive lineman out of Northwestern.
Yeah.
He's about 8-time All-Pro. Just a killer of a player, along with Gary Zimmerman.
Yeah.
A solid offensive tackle, Charlton, that played in Denver and Minnesota. All-Pro, Hall of Famer. These guys were nasty and tenacious, Charlton. We'll always see guys that we've seen on commercials, but these are a couple of the hidden gems in the NFL that were consistent, game in and game out, and was going to bring it to you on every down, Charlton.
Big C, that makes a lot of sense. So a lot of times when people want to look at who the best players are today, and you match them with the players from the old school, a lot of the old school players, they had ESPN, but a lot of them did not have ESPN, but they were the real deal. They were not media made, Big C. They earned it on the field. I do want to talk about something that I think we talk about all the time after I hit this spot. Today's segment sponsored by Ben and Mark. You know, sports is $1 billion industry. For every sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We go through Ben and Mark. They work with Big C Sports. They've been around half a century, covering pro athletes, your collegiate athletes, your high school players, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. Reach out to Big C Sports. Let them know that Charlton and Big C sent you. Big C, something that came up, I mean, people do it anyway, okay? But former ex-commissioner Fay Vincent from the Major League Baseball, he's trying to say sports betting should be legalized in the United States in all sports. We know everybody's in Nevada primarily. It's restricted to Nevada. But they're saying it accounts for, and I don't know who does this accounting, estimated $400 billion annually in the United States alone. $400 billion in illegal betting. You better believe that at some point in time it will be legal to get some of that tax money. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, it's like marijuana. Marijuana is like sports.
Yeah.
So we're talking politically the way we look at that.
Yeah.
You know, it's accessible to Americans. That's what you look at.
Yeah.
And, things that are, controlled by the government are generally not abused.
Yeah.
When we look at addiction. You think about betting in Vegas. It's a controlled scenario because you're going into a place and you're putting your money out.
Yeah.
This illegal betting has caused a lot of problems throughout America.
Yeah.
This is not taxed, Shelton. When you look at cities that can benefit from it.
Oh, my goodness.
Tremendously. It's just like the marijuana. Look at the states and cities that are benefiting from the sales tax on this product, Shelton.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same in the gaming industry. As America try to sit up and say that things don't exist, I mean, it doesn't make any difference if you're betting in an office pool,
Yeah.
the squares game,
Yeah.
if you want to buy a square.
Yep.
The betting is going on.
Yeah.
It just happens. Whether you're making a bet one-on-one at work, hey, I bet you $10 and so-and-so gets this one this week.
Yeah.
It's going on.
Yeah.
So to make it an opportunity where you can wager and get a percentage
Yeah.
higher off because you're getting odds, I think it would be advantageous for all of America to look at that and see how it benefits. We have so many things in America that people look at with a blind eye.
Yeah.
But they're all doing it and stuff. You're going to tell me that they don't bet in Congress, Shelton? You think about governors. Every time there's a Super Bowl,
Yeah.
we have governors betting,
Yeah.
wagering.
Yeah.
NBA championships, you got mayors and governors waging battles, Shelton. So, the
Big C, that's a very good point. So obviously, I think it's a good thing anytime you have something that's controlled. And we talk about healthcare, we talk about, the highway system, everything that keeps people employed. If we have a stronger tax base from good old boys who are doing their thing anyway. I always think, how many people can we feed? No one should go to bed hungry in America, especially if you have a system that can feed people. So obviously, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver's in favor of it. I don't know if Goodell is. He's making $44 million anyway. He couldn't care less. But at the same time, I think it would be a great thing for all people. Big C, there was a story that came out about some of the top black athletes in I guess the United States of America. But ESPN missed the boat. They didn't say some of the top white athletes also. They've tried to make it a black thing. But I just want to get your thoughts running down even the top 8 African-American athletes. You think of Michael Jordan. They also think of Serena Williams, Jackie Robinson, Hank Aaron, Muhammad Ali, of course, I think is number 1. Willie Mays, Magic Johnson, Tiger Woods. And for the white Americans, I say maybe Babe Ruth, even though a lot of people said he was black. Larry Bird, Bruce Jenner as a great Olympian, Michael Phelps, we know what he's done in the Olympics, Jerry West, John McEnroe, Jack Nicklaus with 18 majors, and the infamous Pete Rose. Big C, your thoughts on some of the great talents, black and white, in the history of this country, Big C?
Well, Charles and I feel that this list is obscure because the voting that was done on this list was done over the internet, okay?
Yeah.
They didn't go to the barbershop and find out who the best black athletes were.
Yeah.
If you really want to know that's where you got to go. You got to go to the barbershop. You can't go to some internet cafe
Yeah.
to find out who the best black athletes were.
Yeah.
There was no mention of Wilma Rudolph, okay? One of the greatest sprinters of all time. Althea Gibson, Charlton.
Yeah.
A tremendous black and female athlete. They were not even mentioned as top athletes because the internet generation and ESPN generation knows nothing about them. You look how far Jesse Owens was down the list.
Yeah.
With his personal accomplishments. Arthur Ashe was not even talking about just the great humanitarian athlete and spokesperson for the will.
Yeah.
The great Pele, African-American athlete, Charlton.
Satchel Paige.
No one understands. And when we talk about, our show is the only one to mention Kurt Floyd.
Yeah.
The great shortstop of the St. Louis Cardinals, a great free agency in baseball.
Yeah.
So when you want to talk about the significance of African-American athletes and what they did, yes, everybody's going to talk about Michael because Michael's in the forefront of everybody's mind.
Yeah.
But you're going to tell me Jim Brown's not in the top 10, Charlton?
Wow.
Think about Billy Sanders, how great he was as a running back.
Yeah.
And what he accomplished. Magic Johnson with his feet, Charlton.
Yeah.
Kareem with his legacy along with Bill Russell.
Yeah.
The length of time that both of these men played, the championships that they produced, they were not top athletes, Charlton. Barry Bonds, how could you omit him from any top 10 list, Charlton, with his number of home runs?
Yeah.
And not only that, you add his walks into the home runs, Charlton, to see how dangerous he was.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go back and look at football players. Think about Dickie Jones, a tremendous defensive end.
Yeah.
With the Los Angeles Rams. If they had counted sacks when he played, Charlton, he may be the all-time NFL sack leader.
That's a very good point.
Look at this list, Charlton. It is populated by the modern-day athlete because that's the only athlete that these people know of the internet generation.
Yeah.
They're like ESPN itself. They're not historians.
Yeah.
Unless the research staff goes back and pulls people up. But there are so many tremendous athletes, and you can't just make a list. Carl Lewis, where would he rank?
Yeah.
I mean, tremendous track star, Charlton.
Yeah.
With his feats and records. It's hard to place this list. I wouldn't even want to be there trying to say, okay, these are the top 10
Yeah.
African-American athletes and all that. These are the top 20. Because think about what African-American athletes have had to do over time
Yeah.
to get to the point where they are. We talked about Josh Gibson.
Yeah.
Hitting 85 home runs in a season, Charlton.
Yeah.
He's not considered a top black athlete.
Isn't that amazing?
Satchel Paige pitching in the major leagues till he's 54 years old. People talking about Tom Brady turning 40. Satchel Paige pitched at the age of 54 for the Cleveland Indians in the World Series and got a World Series ring.
Yeah.
The last time the Cleveland Indians won the World Series. So how do you admit Satchel Paige as being one of the greatest and most significant African-American athletes of that time, Charlton? You cannot. Joe Louis.
Yeah.
What is Joe Louis? Beyond that, look at Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was the greatest, most courageous African-American athlete of all time.
Yep.
Jack Johnson beat up on white men in America when he was lynching black people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And lived a lavish lifestyle and was a millionaire. Flaunted himself up and down the street. Boasted and bragged. But Jack Johnson, when you think about the greatest African-American athlete of all time, and I don't care whether he's black or white, you need to look at the history of Jack Johnson well beyond Muhammad Ali or anybody else. This is a man who lived at a time when the world wanted to kill him.
Yep.
And he beat up on white men, Jonathan.
Yep.
He's the greatest and most significant African-American athlete of all time, okay?
And if he was fighting today, they wouldn't let him fight Big C because he's too dominant. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bandini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He had a Slay and Sand rumble, young man rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
I'm looking at down in the rest of this liquid in this glass. I'm bootlegging a few of them on this Earthernet thing and doing this with the back and by the time halftime will away, all the barbecue will be done, okay?
That's funny. That's funny. Well, Big C, we just found a new sport in the United States of America, and you can find it too every Monday and Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on iHeartRadio Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys from down south. We always want to tell you there's never any excuse for domestic violence. If you know anyone in trouble, just call 911. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.